Mary Jo Markham, Kelly Allen, Joseph Schwartz, Emily Richardson, Corey Burmeister, Abigail Willauer, Mike Carr, Melanie Coyer, Francine Tompkins, Tim and Sue LeBrun, Janelle Niemeyer, John and Susan Faust, Irene Draper, Tillade, Doctors Dennis and Linda Farrar, Norman and Susan Richards, the Stoughton Hospital Association, John and Peg Roberts, Lynn Jarzembek, Sarah Shapiro, Peter Strine, Jennifer and Randy Way, Nathan Blehigh, Julie Churchill, Linda Twinkle, Thomas Mrozensky, Kay Kistling Cowan, Elizabeth Chapman, Leanne DeWalt, Kevin Rinka, Nancy Edwards, Victoria Brigler, Nate and Caitlin Crowell, Tessica Barnett, Amanda Winters, Trenton Cleast, Dana Hoffman, Gary White, Kelly Dietra, Denise Hageman, Douglas Dean, Avery Spencer, Jacqueline Yance, Dylan Talerico, Cheryl Arndt, Ida Dempich, Rick Hyam and Jill Ellis, Chuck Williams, Brian Vetrovec, the Maytree Center for Mindful Living, Jean Hook, Juliana and John Burmesh Charitable Fund, Helgren Ishizaki family, Philip Mitchell, Brian Vetrovec, and then the following scholarships. Irene Draper, $375 for the Manley Draper Family Scholarship. Carla Draper, $400 for the Manley Draper Family Scholarship. Dwayne Draper, $325 for the Manley Draper Family Scholarship. And then Gregory and Jillian Flukel, $20 for the Upham Woods field trip donation. Robert and Melissa Hermanson for the Upham Woods field trip donation. Then Peter Lesperance, $100 for the OHS Band Program. Madison Brass Band, $100 for the OHS Splash Pad Program. Culvers of Oregon for the Splash Pad. Maxwell Babler for the $250 for the F1 Club. And the Common Family, $9 for the FAS Band field trip to the Overture Center. And these are also all FES Band field trip to the Overture Center. Pagel family, Miller family, Conroy family, Kromka family, Glazer family, Burns family, Young family, Haggerty family, and Coyle family. So that means people support our school district and what's going on. So thank you for all the families and the organizations who have donated to the Oregon School District, especially to the Splash Pad, to get that closer to its goal. Okay, that's the consent calendar for tonight. I will entertain a motion to approve that consent calendar.
I'll make it.
All right.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Katie, could you please call the roll?
Ms. Garrison?
Yep.
Mr. Pankratz?
Yes.
Ms. Bijak?
Yes.
Dr. Bush?
Yes.
Ms. Wright?
Yes.
Ms. Flanagan?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Okay, moving on to B, information items. First up is public comment, and we do have some people registered for public comment, so I will read the parameters of public comment. District Policy 180.05 provides an opportunity for the public to address the board. We do value the public comment period and feedback from our stakeholders. To comply with open meetings law and to ensure consistency, public comment will have the following parameters. Speakers will have 3 minutes in which to make their comments. Ms. Heitz will signal the speaker when their time is up. The board will not comment after each speaker and will reserve discussion to any items on the agenda, but speakers are welcome to stay for the meeting. Next steps following public comment may include referral to the appropriate administrator for follow-up with the speaker or placement of the matter on a future board agenda. All right, so first up is Mickey Kroll. So Mickey, if you want to come up to the microphone, and we just need you to state your name and your address, and then 3 minutes are yours.
My name is Mickey Kroll. My address is 108 Drumlin Circle here in Oregon. Okay. My name is Mickey Kroll, and I have lived in Oregon since 2020 and have been on the Oregon PTO board for the last 2 years. Additionally, I attended Oregon schools for my K-12 education. As a parent with 2 children in elementary school, I am deeply concerned that in a few short years, my kids' learning environment will be surrounded by peers with smartphones. It's crucial for parents, the school district, and our entire community to collaborate in safeguarding the education and mental health of all our children. Research overwhelmingly shows that smartphones and social media pose significant harm to young minds. Now is the time to be bold and courageous. Our children rely on us, parents, the school district, and the community to guide them in making healthy decisions. It's essential that children be allowed to learn and grow in a phone-free school environment. Although well-intentioned, current policies and considerations are not enough. Students need social interactions during passing time and lunch. During the school day, let's take the smartphones out of students' hands. As a school district, we need to make a difficult decision and allow all children to learn in a phone-free school. My husband and I aren't the only parents that feel this way. Families working independently from each other to make a change like this is not as effective as a group working together with the support of the school board, teachers, and community. We know that the Oregon School District, along with the community, believes that education in our district should be grounded in and based upon a set of 5 core values. One of these 5 core values is the whole child emphasis. Within this value is a statement that we should meet the academic, behavioral, social, and emotional needs of all learners. The character and culture component of the Portrait of a Graduate states that students need the ability to employ strategies that support their own physical and mental wellness. This is an area where students need our help. Students struggle to curb their use of social media, which in turn impacts their mental wellness and learning. The Oregon School District can act as a leader in this area. The Oregon School District does a lot of great things. The district is forward-thinking and lays an appropriate vision for all of their students to be successful. But let's not be complacent. Let's aspire to be even better. Let's be bold and courageous. Now is the time. Let's act together as a community, a school district, and a school board that oversees our children to make a difference. Will you please consider district-wide phone-free schools starting fall 2025?
Thank you. All right, next up, Matthew Kroll.
Hello, my name is Matthew Kroll. I live at 108 Drumlin Circle as well. Happy to be here and thank you all for your service. I've been teaching high school mathematics for 25 years, currently at Oregon High School. I live in Oregon and am the parent of my 2 children here that are at Prairie View Elementary right now. My school day begins, I hear silence. When I walk into an open space before the school day begins, I observe my classroom as students trickle in between periods. When I walk through the library during study hall, it is quiet. Where is the chatter, the laughter, the adolescent banter that I would expect to have with a large group of adolescents? I hear silence. So many students are engaged with their social media in place of being social with their peers. What impacts are there on the social development, and what harm is there to the mental health of our children? We as a school community have an opportunity to take the cell phone out of students' hands for 8 hours a day. An opportunity to give students a reprieve from their phones for 8 hours a day so that they can play, grow, make friends, learn to communicate, and develop as children. I'm worried that my kids and the children of all our families are being failed by our schools. Recently, high school teachers received a survey that asked about our perceptions of how current cell phone practices work. I appreciate the district including staff voices in exploring possible alternative approaches. In a second survey, staff were asked to take 1 minute and select between 2 options being considered. A box to select other was also available to us. Again, I appreciate the district asking for the opinions of staff. And again, although well-intentioned, I believe both options focused on classroom spaces, but neither address the mental health harm that social media presents to our children. I wonder if future data gathering could include other options. Could our school community consider a phone-free school, classrooms, hallways, lunchtime, study halls? I do know that a phone-free school is a change, and with change there is always stress. But I believe the benefits far outweigh any struggle. Let's give our students, for just 8 hours a day, an opportunity to be children. Let's not be silent. Will you please consider, in the fall of 2025, a phone-free school environment, K-12? Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else here for public comment? Anyone else here for public comment? Okay. We are moving on to 2, OEA report. I do not see anyone here from the OEA. And then 3 is student report. And Dr. Bergstrom mentioned that students were not able to come tonight. So moving on to C, we do not have any action items tonight. So we're moving on to D, discussion items committee reports. So first up is vision steering. So I'll turn that over to Heather.
Our next meeting is February 26th at 5:15 p.m.
All right, great. Thank you, Heather. And then moving on to B, policy. Mary, Dr. Lakuta is not here tonight. Gina, when is the next policy committee meeting? If you would share that, please.
So the next meeting is February 20th at 5:15. It'll be virtual because the district engagement session is virtual right after.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, moving right along to E, information items, which normally we turn all of these over to Dr. Bergstrom. So that's visioning and strategic planning, teaching and learning update, and superintendent's report. So at 6:44, the floor is yours, Dr. Bergstrom.
That's practically a record. So thank you for that. So tonight we're going to, we will be speaking a bit about a really important email that the staff members and our families received today regarding a significant part of our visioning and strategic planning, connected, of course, to our priorities and our goals. And it is the learning, or readiness for learning framework. So we would like to share some of the really strategic work we've been doing related to helping every child achieve and be ready for learning. So if you've been in our district for a while, you know that we have a proud history of working together to plan for the future and to do what's best for kids. In spirit of working together, we want to make sure everyone has all of the information that they need. In fact, families in our district received an email this afternoon with information about our Readiness for Learning framework. So I want to give you a brief overview tonight, and for anybody who's listening to the board meeting at home, and talk about the many opportunities to learn more about our Readiness for Learning framework and share feedback. And you can see right here, we're talking about 6 interrelated factors that we believe have a really significant impact on students being ready for learning. And the first you see up there, number 1 in the orange, and we'll move around in a clockwise formation, is focused and engaged in the classroom. And what that really means is that there's as little distraction as possible. And I'll talk a little bit about what that means in just a moment. Ample and balanced nutrition. We've certainly spent a lot of time speaking about our food service program and the importance of students getting all of the correct nutritional components. Sleep. We know how critical that is for every one of us, but children in particular. Developing a place where all students feel like they belong, whether that's through the creation of classroom communities, or that's through clubs, or it's through athletics. We know the importance of belonging to our children. And number 5, emotional well-being and mental health. We know that everybody, as Dr. Anderson has said many times, everybody has mental health. And it's important that we recognize it and we develop strategies to take care of it. And then high quality collaborative teaching. And you see in the center of the graphic, we have one of our really favorite pictures of Miss Sargent and a little one who at the time was in first grade. I think he's a little bigger now. So together, and the together is really important, but together we're doing great things for kids. And we really want our community to know about some of the things that we are proposing, things that have not been decided upon. The board has not voted on anything I'm about to speak of, but really it's about making sure that we collect feedback so that we really are doing these things together. So in order to help everybody understand this a little bit better, you see in the gray box, we have 3 listening sessions, information and listening sessions. They're about an hour long, 2 in person, 1 virtual. We also have one that's just for staff that's actually coming up this week. And we're having listening sessions on the Readiness for Learning framework but also on some specific things that the administration is proposing for the 25-26 school year, and that the board this spring will be making a decision about. And the first is connected to our public comment this evening, and that is our plan to reduce phone distraction in the classroom. And secondly, our plan for students to start school 1 hour later on Mondays to give our teachers uninterrupted collaboration time. So you see on the bottom, there is a link for the Ready for Learning page on our school district website. And if Katie, you'd link or click on that, please, because there are it's a really beautiful, informative page that I want to walk people through very carefully. If you'll just scroll to where we can see the, there we go, see the framework easily. And number one, again, I will point out the two orange components of the framework are the ones that we'll be working on quite significantly for the upcoming year. Number one, on focused and engaged learning, this is about reducing cell phone distraction in the classroom. We know that our students need to be able to be fully present for their learning, and we know what the research tells us about the impact of having cell phones on their persons in a classroom where we expect them to be fully present. And then the other orange component of the framework that you see here, that is on high quality collaborative teaching. And that is our focus for that for the 25-26 school year is to allow our staff to have an hour a week of uninterrupted, what we refer to and is quite common in educator speak as professional learning communities. And what that really means is educators coming together to analyze student work, to collaborate on the next strategic steps for the classroom as a whole and for each individual. And we really believe that this additional time in which all of our special educators are present, all of our general educators, our multilingual teachers, our interventionists, all of the people with high levels of expertise for all of our children, if we give them uninterrupted time to prepare for the learning experiences that we want our children to have, we feel like we'll be doing really great things for kids with that time. So we want our families to learn more about this, right? This is really important that they learn about it and they give us feedback and they help us become better thinkers related to how we will plan forward. So if you'll scroll down a little bit, Katie, you can see that on this page you also see the information on the listening sessions that we'll be having, the 3 of them in the month of February, February 19th, 20th, and 25th. And then if you continue to scroll down a little bit more, you'll see the 2 significant proposals for the 25-26 school year, the ones that were in the orange blocks on the Readiness for Learning framework, reducing phone distractions in the classroom, and students starting 1 hour later each Monday. They have their own sections because those are both initiatives that will have a significant impact on our students, our staff, and our families. And we really want people to pay special attention to these particular components this year because of what we're proposing for the 25-26 school year. And if we continue to move down just a bit, you'll also see that the Readiness for Learning focus areas all have a box where you can click on the words. Thank you, Katie, for showing that. And you can go to an entirely separate page that is information on each component of this Readiness for Learning framework. So we'll be moving through each of the components of this framework over the next few years, but we're starting with the 2 orange ones that are on top, related to reducing cell phone distraction in the classroom and ensuring our teachers have the time to collaborate in a way that will create the best learning experiences possible for our students. So feedback from the listening sessions, along with research and best practices, will continue to be reviewed and will be incorporated into a recommendation the administration makes to the Oregon School Board. And then the board will deliberate on the proposed initiatives this spring. I urge people to please take a look at the website. In addition to putting one of the listening sessions on your calendar, please look at the website, because everything I've showed you thus far, and if you scroll all the way to the bottom, there's a really well laid out FAQ that we will continue to build out as people send us questions through the online form. So I hope people take a look at it. I think that there'll be a lot of opportunities to give input, and we really want to hear from people, because we want what we plan to take into consideration, everything that our families, our students, our staff members are thinking related to how to create or how to minimize classroom distraction, and how to ensure our staff have the time to collaborate and create the very best learning experiences possible for every child. So now I think it's time to move into the superintendent report, because there are some really great things to share with all of you tonight, such as last week was National School Counseling Week, and we want to recognize our really amazing Oregon School District Counseling team. You can see them up here on the screen. Thank you to each and every one of them for everything they do to support our school community every day. Thank you, and we really appreciate you. And then this week is Wisconsin Bus Drivers Week. We have a really unique transportation system that served our students and our families well for many, many years, and we're very appreciative of the bus drivers and the contractors. They do so much for our students. They add such a personal touch to our transportation system. So we'll be having our annual Bus Driver Appreciation Breakfast in April, and we look forward to celebrating and appreciating them at that time too. And we also have SRO Appreciation. And this is a day that's actually on Saturday, interestingly, Saturday the 15th. And we want to recognize Officer Krantz, our newest SRO. We're so appreciative that he's a part of the district. He's really doing a great job getting to know our students, and he works very well with them. And we're really thankful for all that he adds to our team and to our students. And if you haven't seen this one on social media, I had to go back and look twice to figure out what in the world was happening here. But the first grade team at Brooklyn Elementary recently flew into Kickoff, their bird unit. Over the next few months, students will build their literacy skills as they engage in an in-depth study of birds' bodies. So what did their teachers do to kick it all off? They spent the day in their bird costumes. You have to love it, right? Like, that is dedication, and I just think the kids had a great time with that, and it looks like the adults did too. So at Forest Edge, we have some reading buddies sharing stories. We have fifth graders from Mrs. Hoppy's class and their buddies with Mrs. Jakey's kindergarten class at Forest Edge. So after listening to the fifth graders share their awesome rainforest stories, the kindergarten students were excited to share their weather stories. This is a really fun way to celebrate all of the hard work that they put into their writing. And our 8th grade band from Oregon Middle School recently traveled to UW-Madison to work with clinician Carrie Beckman, who worked with us on tone, balance, awareness, articulation, and how to apply the story of the music to our playing. What a great experience for our student musicians. And then we also welcomed Wisconsin State Superintendent Dr. Jill Underly to Oregon High School this week to kick off Career and Technical Education Month. You see a variety of pictures from her visit. The visit included a trip to our student home construction site, and the students are so impressive. The way they work independently but collaboratively on high-level skills that they'll be able to transfer into so many things. It was so much fun to watch them in that building process. Dr. Underly also met with students who are in our youth apprenticeship program. You see the panel there in the conference room, and the students shared the different things that they were doing for their youth apprenticeship and the classes that they took to prepare them for that experience. And then we also did observations of our career and technical education classes, and you can see examples of that on the screen. Really proud of our students who take advantage of these opportunities. And the amazing educators who make it possible, right? Because without them, our students wouldn't be able to do this. But students who are interested in career and technical education opportunities really should meet with their school counselor and Mrs. D'Amelio, our school to career coordinator, to discuss and to learn more. Excuse me. And then we've been in a lot of CTE classes lately, and here's another great one. So the students in Mr. Stace's wood manufacturing course at the high school are hard at work on their cutting board projects. The task requires putting into practice new skills, a lot of individual creativity, and meticulous attention to detail. So I'm excited to see the final products, and I hope that the families of the children get to enjoy these, because how fun would it be to have something your child made in high school for the next few decades sitting in your kitchen. And then we have 2 youth apprenticeship spotlights tonight. The first is Joseph, who is working as a welder at Metalcraft. And courses that have led up to this capstone experience include metal technology, welding, another course, and Autos 1. Joseph is about to earn his OSHA 10 certification. Pretty cool. And then our next spotlight's on Greta. She is working as an architect and interiors intern at Angus Young. Courses that have led up to this capstone experience include interior design, architectural drafting, and introduction to architecture at Madison College. So if you or your student is currently, if you are or your child is currently a sophomore or junior, now is a great time to start thinking about these options, right? We want to prepare for this to make sure that if this is something you might want to do, that you talk to your counselor or Miss D'Amelio. We wouldn't want anybody to miss out on an opportunity that opened doors for them. And then make sure to check out the podcast. This one, oh my goodness, was this a lot of fun. You see our young man standing there next to the board. His name is Calvin, and he draws on the lunch menu every day something that is connected to the lunch or something that he finds interesting or entertaining, and he works on the design, gets input from our school nutrition team, and his whole mission, he said, is just to spread a little bit of joy. And so he wants to make sure that when people walk through the line at the in the cafeteria, that there's something for them to smile about. That's it.
All right, thank you. Okay, moving on to F, closing, future agenda. Our next meeting is in 2 weeks, which is February 24th. And now I will move to checkout before we go in our budget work session. Heather, anything from you?
I'll just say that I'm so impressed with I always love to see the superintendent report. I'm especially impressed with the cutting board, because my high school project was some sort of ice scraper that I gave lovingly to my parents, and I think they really would have preferred maybe a cutting board or something like that. So it's super amazing to see how far we've come and what the neat things that kids are doing.
Troy, anything? Leslie?
Yeah, so also on the superintendent's report, the 5th grade buddies with the kindergartners, year over year, that has always been a favorite. So when Xavier was in 5th grade, that was one of his favorites. And now I have 2 other 5th graders, and they have come home and mentioned how much fun they have with their kindergarten buddies. So I just love that we have that program. I think it's a wonderful way to connect different age groups and help continue the love of reading.
Caleb, anything? Anna? Okay, it is 7:02. We'll take a 5-minute break, and then we will move into our budget forecast meeting here in a little bit. Thanks, everyone.